Did you know that sometimes the quietest voices make the loudest echoes in history? Imagine this, the height of World War II, a time of chaos, secrets, and espionage. Amidst all this turmoil was a woman very few have ever heard of. Her name, Elizabeth Friedman. No, not Elizabeth with an A, but Elizabeth with an E. And trust me, this story will blow your mind. Elizabeth was born in 1892, as unassuming as they come, in small-town Indiana. Growing up, she had a love for literature and languages. Her world revolved around words. However, fate had an entirely different script written for her. She wasn't going to sit by the fire reading books with tea. No, my friend. She was about to crack codes that changed the course of world history. Her journey began in college, where she studied English literature. A lover of William Shakespeare, she never thought she'd one day be speaking in secret codes. But here's where serendipity walks in. Post-graduation, she took a job working for an eccentric millionaire named George Fabian. Think Howard Hughes, but less glamorous. Fabian had this private research lab he grandiosely named Riverbank Laboratories. What he was actually doing? Investigating Shakespearean texts to find hidden messages that, he believed, proved Francis Bacon had been the real author. Sound crazy, right? Well, it was here at this borderline lunatic lab that Elizabeth's life took a sharp left turn. Fabian quickly noticed her genius and assigned her to a different task: unraveling real, modern codes for more practical reasons: espionage. And just like that, Elizabeth was plunged into the world of cryptology, the science of decoding messages. Now here's where it gets fascinating. When America entered World War I, there wasn't exactly a CIA or NSA laying around to catch foreign agents. Nope. America was cryptologically unprepared. And guess who stepped up to the plate? That's right, Elizabeth, with an E. Alongside her future husband, William Friedman, Elizabeth developed deciphering techniques so advanced that they were light years ahead of their time. Together, they created what would become the building blocks of modern code breaking: algorithms, frequency analysis, letter substitution patterns, you name it, and they invented or perfected it. Fast forward to the Prohibition era. This is one of my favorite parts of her story because it is so cinematic. You can almost see it play out like a noir film. While Prohibition agents were raiding speakeasies with axes and Tommy guns, Elizabeth was working behind the scenes, cracking the codes of bootleggers. These weren't simple beer runners. These were vast syndicates with layered messaging systems to avoid federal detection. And Elizabeth? She broke their communications wide open. As a result, law enforcement agencies captured millions of dollars worth of illegal alcohol, all thanks to her silent work behind the screen. As impressive as that is, we're just warming up to the part where she helped save the world. Yes, literally the world. Enter World War II. By this point, Elizabeth was considered one of the top cryptologists, but here's the kicker. Because she was a woman, her contributions were often ignored or outright stolen, credited to her male counterparts. Society just couldn't fathom a woman decoding Nazi ciphers. But despite all this, she persisted. She was assigned to track suspicious, powerful networks operating along the US coastline. Many of these networks worked with German U-boats haunting Allied shipping lanes. One example, the infamous Daisy Chain. This was a web of spies secretly feeding critical information to the Axis powers. Elizabeth dismantled it by decoding scores of encrypted radio messages. Imagine rows of cryptic numbers and letters zinging through the airwaves, passed in languages no one else could interpret. But Elizabeth sat there, deciphering them with precision that would have made Alan Turing stand and applaud. And if that wasn't enough, she did much of this work completely in the dark about what other agencies were doing. Let me explain why that matters. During World War II, government organizations like the FBI, CIA, and Navy rarely shared information. It was a bureaucratic mess. Despite this, Elizabeth managed to disrupt major espionage operations. For instance, she cracked dozens of codes by the infamous German intelligence officer Johannes Siegfried Becker. This man, codenamed Tramp, ran a spy ring responsible for monitoring Allied naval traffic. Here's the tragic part. Her work even caught the attention of J. Edgar Hoover, director of the FBI. Rather than credit her team's extraordinary work, Hoover frequently took credit himself or buried her contributions entirely. Yes, you heard me right. Imagine toiling away for years to save lives and protect your country, only to be rendered invisible in history. Infuriating, isn't it? Even so, her craft remained unstoppable. She deciphered over 4,000 enemy messages during the war. These weren't just casual notes like, "Hey, meet at 5." No, these were intricate layers of communication filled with military strategies, supply routes, and even assassination plans. Every message she broke wasn't just numbers or letters, but lives saved. Let's pause for a second, because I really want you to let that sink in. Elizabeth Friedman wasn't just sending emails or texts. She was rewriting the script of existence itself. Her quiet, focused brain was a weapon, not one that fired bullets, but one that detonated schemes. Once World War II ended, you'd think she would have been showered with accolades, right? Wrong. Her story faded into obscurity, lost in a sea of male-dominated narratives. The world moved on, and Elizabeth, along with her monumental breakthroughs, slowly drifted into the shadows of history. Until now. What makes her tale so extraordinary is its blend of brilliance, bravery, and quite frankly, an insult to her recognition. Over a century later, her methodologies are still foundational in the cybersecurity you use today. Every encrypted website you browse owes some thanks to the silent whispers of Elizabeth Friedman. So the next time you log in to a secure connection, remember one of history's unsung heroes. A woman who cracked the most uncrackable codes in the name of justice. And when someone asks, "What can one person do?" you'll smile and say, "Ask Elizabeth with an E." That's our historical hidden gem for this episode. If you enjoyed this and want more untold stories, don't forget to follow our channel. Who knows what other secrets history has tucked away? Until next time, this has been Historical Hidden Gems.